I think he's talking at this stage certainly of going through next year, and the way he's been playing, there's no reason why he shouldn't be able to do that. He's been in great form this year. Referee today, by the way, is Peter Filmer, in charge out there in this match this afternoon. Well, very early in the piece, we did mention the conditions out here. Tony Durkin, pretty warm, even though you're in the shade down there. I guess the people in the outer will be frying up pretty well.
Yes, Bill, it's pretty cool in the shade, as you say, but I was on the other side earlier on this afternoon. It was very, very warm over there indeed, but I'm sure the Broncos officials would be very disappointed in this crowd. A small crowd indeed, considering the fact that Parramatta have a very strong following up in Queensland as well. But obviously both teams low on the competition table, and that's reflected in the crowd. There's a fairly strong breeze coming from the North, Bill. That'll be behind the Broncos in the first half.
Okay, so Broncos in possession, and they're just about on the halfway mark after a kick downfield for Parramatta by Lydiard. So I would expect that the Broncos would be a little bit more used to these conditions than Parramatta.
They will, Bill, and they want to be on their game too, because even though Parramatta are second last in the competition, they are still capable of some pretty good football. Brisbane need desperately to start well.
So this is Can with the ball, but he's going to be wrapped up some 15 metres inside Parramatta territory. Dummy half is Walters. Back over to Langer on the final tackle. He juggled it a bit, then evaded the tackle coming in from Johnson. Now the kick downfield is going to go across field and eventually find touch over there, 30 metres out from the Parramatta line.
Not quite according to the script, but they got away with it, Brisbane, after Alfie did fumble the ball. Hoff got it, and then an awkward rubber kick did find touch.
So we'll wait for the scrum to pack down now. And early matches today, 21's a win for Brisbane, 17-16 over Parramatta. They came up with a field goal in the dying moments of the match to get away with it, 17-16. And Parramatta were the top team in President's Cup, so that's a good win there. And then reserve grade, the Broncos taken out by 16-0. So 2 on the board so far. They'll be out for the perfect score here this afternoon.
Dale Shearer, of course, Billy, a hat-trick in that reserve grade game as well.
Yes, it was the sort of match that Rowdy likes. He got very much involved there this afternoon. This is Johnson taking it up. Will be put down about 10 metres short of that halfway mark. So Brett Kenny, interested in your thoughts here, David. I noticed during the week Gene Miles said that he thought that Brett Kenny getting in there as dummy half was a bit of a waste of talent.
Yeah, and there's an injury here, Bill, just while we speak. Let's have a look at it. The big fella Langford brings the ball up the middle of the park.
Oh,
heavily hit. Looks like he may be unconscious.
2.5 minutes in.
Jeff, can I just have another look at that tackle again? I just want to see if the initial impact was trouble to him.
Oh, yeah.
I think he was gone.
I think he was gone there.
It didn't look high.
Well, I think he got him right in the mouth.
Just clipped him.
Just on the bench.
Can we have it slowed, Jeff?
Not slow enough. None of this talk we've got here, Jeff, goes on any tape, does it? Might be a night.
Ladies and gentlemen, Triple F Southern triple shot. Our original entrant out of the barrel, Brent McLean's decided he's got cold feet. So we're drawing another one out.
Who's coming on, Durko?
Matt Goodwin, I should.
Michael Curry, Caulfield, the Frank Burns stand. He's got a row G. If you come down there and once again,
Most of the season, Matt Goodwin.
This is not flash.
Yes, Bill, Brett Kenny, of course, has been used in that dummy half role, but I think Peter Sterling summed it up. If Michael Cronin had his way, he'd have him at dummy half, he'd have him at first receiver, and he'd have him as the runner as well. Just how important it is to the Parramatta side. And as we see there, Andrew Langford leaving the field. He's been attended to by doctors. Let's have a look at it. Langford coming up the middle of the ruck. Very strong tackle, this one, by 3 Broncos players. And Langford crashing to the ground, was dispossessed at the time, and a scrum to pack.
So in by Langer, he'll take it out, getting it across to Walters. But he's going to be well met up over there by Lydiard and put to the ground.
Matt Goodwin is on for Andrew Langford, Bill.
This is Alan Can taking it up. 10 metres inside Parramatta territory. Walters to dummy half. Switches it on the blind side. Gilmeister coming through. Taking on the tackle of Brian Johnson. So Walters to Langer, to Walters again, to Hoff. Hoff getting it back over there, this time to Dowling. They keep it going, the Broncos, via Renoff. Dummy half is Walters. He'll swing it over on the blind side. Dowling going through over there, but he's going to be held up in the tackle by Johnston. Also getting into it is Matt Goodwin, the replacement player. It is the final tackle, so back to Langer. Quickly away to Walters. Walters with a little kick through. Going back there this time is Scott Marr, but Fitzhenry comes across, the fullback, and he'll take it. And he's also taken in the tackle by Terry Madison. So now away from dummy half is Marr.
As expected, Bill, and as often happens, there is a bit of a hush over the crowd. We've had quite a lengthy delay with the Andrew Langford incident. And really, there's a total lack of atmosphere at the moment, and it often happens with such a delay.
Ironically enough, Mark Clinton in the Parramatta reserve grade side was taken off in similar fashion very early in the piece in that match also.
Sure, Tony Durkin down on the touchline will have a report as soon as we can get one on the condition of Andrew Langford.
So here's the kick downfield by Lydiard. Hoff is back there to take it. The big fella turns around, starts to stretch out. The legs are going. He's coming up over the quarter line. He's going to be put down. Over the top goes Jackson. And the man coming in underneath is Mark Laurie. Here's Tony Durkin.
Well, Bill, the report from the dressing room is very encouraging on Andrew Langford. He was knocked unconscious, as we can see, but he has since regained consciousness in the Parramatta dressing room or in the medical room, and let's hope for his sake that he's okay.
Certainly. So I'm sure you'll keep us in touch of that.
Looked like a knock on to me, this one, Bill, even though he dragged the ball forward and then it hit his knee and then went backwards. I would consider it should have been a knock on. Filmer thought otherwise. Brisbane, not a very convincing start, but that'll help them no end. Terry Madison, a towering kick. Finds touch nicely inside the quarter.
It means the scrum will pack down. Here it is again. Madison right behind it. It's beautifully placed and got the bounce away well and truly into touch. And Parramatta no chance of cutting it off. So at this stage, there's no points on the board here at Lang Park.
Parramatta through Bell, getting it away now for Lydiard. Back from the injured list this week. Played 5/8 in the previous 5 matches in the Winfield Cup. Already this year has played at fullback and centre. Glenn Lydiard, a very talented young Parramatta player. Now, Matt Goodwin. He's had his injury problems as well throughout the season. Johnston, watch for him in defence today. Fast building a reputation as a real hitman in this Parramatta side. There's Goodwin. They've lost the football. So the Broncos inside the attacking half. Walters will go to dummy half. And a penalty that will put even more pressure on this Parramatta defence.
Well and truly warranted. Matt Goodwin, who's the replacement player for Langford, was the one delaying the play the ball. Over the top came Goodwin, one of the most experienced players in the game. Filmer here now finding it necessary to speak to both players. Andrew G has a habit, and I don't know whether he got the caution on this occasion for it, has a habit of having a bit of a chat when it's unnecessary. He'd do well to remember that he's out there to play football, and the referee to referee it.
Well, despite a pretty strong breeze at his back, Madison electing not to look for the 2 points. Brisbane on deep attack inside the quarter line. Kerrod Walters is the dummy half. 8 metres short. Brisbane now lined deep to the left. Langer is the first receiver. Had a splendid series against the Kiwis for Australia in his test recall. Now Kevin Walters working at blindside. Madison held up in the tackle. 10 metres out, just to the right of the uprights. Working on the blind side. Kerrod Walters got the pass away this time to Trevor Gilmeister. And he's tackled in the shadow in front of the Frank Burke stand. The final tackle. The kick is a good one, rolling end on end, and Marn read it beautifully.
That's good defence by Parramatta. They moved up very quickly, which was important. Brisbane like a little bit of room to move. Parramatta gave them none of that. And then Marn positioned himself nicely to ensure that he covered the kick. Just as well he did, because he was on his Pat Malone.
Well, that pass was very, very flat. The people on the far side thought it was forward. Peter Filmer didn't think so. Peter Johnston takes play beyond the quarter line. Still no score here at about 8 minutes gone in the first half at Lang Park. Fitzhenry taken in the tackle, 23 out in centre field. Kenny at dummy half. It goes back for Fitzhenry. A long kick downfield, bouncing on the 10-metre line in Brisbane's territory. Big Paul Hoff. Those long legs working, but Goodwin wrapped him up ball and all. Michael Cronin, 17 wins from 40 games for Parramatta. A player with a magnificent playing record with the Eels. Hopefully, the Parramatta management will buy him some gun players for next year, David. He's been working with a pretty threadbare cupboard in the last couple.
Well, he has, and they've come out, Fordo, and said they're going to soften their purse string. Oh, Alfie, the little grubber kick was perfect. The bounce, not perfect, but good enough to retain. Langer, the deft little, almost rolled it off his knee, sat up for him, and then just bounced away from him. That was a try. He had support.
Brandon, of course, went 7 games without a win at the beginning of the season. As David Wright mentioned when he went through the team rundown, they've won 5 of their last 11, but conceded 77 tries so far in 18 rounds in the Winfield Cup. Now Mann, away for Bell. Johnston, pass out the back door, picked up by Kenny. And Kenny takes it 5 metres inside Brisbane's end of the ground. 9 minutes gone, an error by Parramatta, by Mark Laurie. That's an unusual event for this talented player.
Very seldom in today's game, if not for the first time, that Parramatta have been inside Broncos territory. An error results straight away.
So their backs line very flat in defence as Walters gets it across field. Johns, good play for Hoff. Hoff looked to unload but couldn't. Around his legs was Jackson. Madison giving it for Gilmeister. A beautiful pass for Renoff. He's 9 metres inside Parramatta's end of the ground. Walters working on that blind side again out of dummy half. Willie Khan, what a terrific series he had in the 2 test matches against New Zealand. Langer, Walters, good defence. Kenny was up to wrap him up, ball and all. It was Bell who went low. Now Langer for dummy half for Dowling. Turned his back on the opposition. Right hand of Laurie went around to make sure the pass couldn't be unloaded. Now G. Langer. Not a good kick. Taken by Ericsson.
That was a terrible kick by Alan Langer. Almost picked Ericsson out, and they've got possession back almost in the identical place that Langer kicked it.
Well, 10 minutes gone in this first half, and the deadlock's still not broken here at Lang Park. Ideal conditions for this round 19 clash in the Winfield Cup.
And this Parramatta side playing it well at the moment, particularly their backs. They're getting up very fast, chopping off any opportunity that the Broncos have had to do any attack at all. That's Johnston with the ball.
Bill, you've hit it right on the head. I think Brisbane are making the mistake that they're not using their forwards early enough in the game. They're trying to go out into the back line too quickly, and Parramatta quite simply moving up and shutting them down.
Here's the final tackle. Lydiard sending it out to Mann on the wing. Well, they're going to run it out. Now he sends it back inside. Lydiard with the kick on this occasion, but it's out well and truly on the full.
Having said Brisbane's attack hasn't been that hot, Parramatta really haven't threatened at all in defence.
Running across field this time is Michael Hancock. He gets it away to Walters. Walters outside to Willie Kahn. Then away to Walters again. Walters back to Willie Kahn. Is anyone else allowed to play this game? It doesn't look like it. They finally do. There's another Walters gets into the act. Away they go up the centre though. And backing up nicely, it's Kevin Walters a couple of metres inside Parramatta territory. Well, that's more like the Broncos attack that we're used to. And they keep it up too as John starts setting sail up the centre. But the defence is there to take care of him. So back to Dowling. He in turn sends it outside to Can. Can got away to Renoff. He's lost the ball. There'll be a Parramatta ball. Coming away with it is Goodwin.
Brisbane often suffer from this. They get a little bit carried away. Can tried what was really an impossible pass. Parramatta in possession.
It's Henry up as the dummy half. He in turn sends it outside there to Craig Drake. So 0-0 at the score at Lang Park at the moment. We haven't. That's going to be lost over there by Johnston. Hoff coming up to pick it up. He got away from Johnston's tackle. He got away from the next one coming through from Andrew Leeds. He's starting to stretch out, but coming in is Ericsson to take care of him. Under a bit of pressure to take it, but got away from that opening tackle and then took it up from there. Dallin Langer. So Parramatta putting it away on 4 occasions in the drop ball department. Broncos on 2. So from the play, the ball, it's Walters away from dummy half. He's looking for support. Alan Langer becomes the link man to Kevin Walters. He in turn back to G. They're just passing it backwards and forwards. No one seems to be going anywhere. Matter of fact, they lost some ground on that occasion. Dummy half Madison. Now back inside to Walters. Here's a bit of a go. He's working across field looking for support. Found Kevin on to Renoff. Reynolds sends it right over the top. It'll be taken by Hancock, and that'll have to be a try. He slips out of the tackle. The tackle coming in from Brett Kenny. And he'll run around a little bit further and place it down, and that's the first try of the match. The
principle of it is, Bill, if you keep the ball alive, sooner or later the class will show through. Ball handling brilliant here by the Broncos. Kerrod Walters. Here's Madison, back to Kerrod Walters, up the middle of the ruck, looked for the inside pass and found it, and then it looked like it was going to die there. Renoff, well done, kept his wits about him, popped it over the top. Michael Hancock with room to move. Away he goes, gets away from Brett Kenny, improves the position. Brisbane have threatened a number of times. The pass has gone astray, not this time. Madison does well to turn it back on the inside. Kerrod Walters tries the other angle, brings him back on the inside. Looked like Willie Kahn there in the middle of the ruck. And then Renoff stands the defence up for a moment. The pass over the top beat 3. Kenny and cover defence just couldn't handle Michael Hancock. He'll bring it around to improve the position.
The irony of it is there, Bill, that he and Steve Renoff were the equal leading try scorers this year for the Brisbane Broncos, and the pass from Renoff to Hancock allowed Michael to slip one ahead of him with his 9th try of the season.
Post on either side of him from that rear shot. It's on its way. It's going to be away to the left-hand side. Only just, but it's away to the left-hand side. And it's going to be Andrew Fitzhenry to kick it downfield. Be taken back there by Dowling. He brings it up to the quarter line before he's eventually going to be wrapped up in the tackle of Fernley up there, but they keep it going, and there's Walters getting involved again. Going to be picked up by Gilmeister. Then they keep it going again. This is G to about 5 metres short of the halfway mark.
Just one penalty in the first 15 minutes of this match at Lang Park. Brisbane lead by 4-0. And they advance the ball over the halfway line in 2 tackles from that kickoff. Gilmeister. Now the dummy half is Walters. He's been very, very involved in the opening 15 minutes. Out of dummy half he goes again. Support of Madison. But Mann goes over the top, and it was Jackson below. Walters, Langer. It's Kevin Walters. On the hit back was Johns, but it was read by the Parramatta defence through Laurie and Goodwin. Now G is the dummy half. It's the final tackle. And that is yet another shocker from Alan Langer. 2 in a row. Very, very poor kicking performance by the halfback, and that must be a concern for Coach Wayne Bennett.
Particular concern because there was little pressure on Alan Langer there on either occasion.
So Laurie with the turnover. And Drake, one of the few touches he's had in the first half. A young prop forward with enormous raps from the reserve grade coach Bob O'Reilly. And he's one former front rower that should know. On the blind side is Johnston. They're 5 metres inside Brisbane's end of the ground, the Eels. And Ericsson comes in from that left wing. This time last year, the Brisbane Broncos had strung 11 wins in a row together. Going into this round, they were defeated by Manly. Here's a good break by Leeds, but Langer went low in the tackle. But in 1991, the Broncos apparently out of semi-final contention. Now it goes back for Willie Kahn. He tries to take on Ericsson and Laurie. Now with little support will Hoff go on his own. He goes down that blind side. That's clever play by the fullback. Pitched about 8 or 10 metres to take play beyond the quarter line. Look at Michael Hancock in from the left wing. He's a class act, Michael Hancock. Is he what? Hancock, too much pace. He's going to put it under the black dot for his 10th try of the season, and he's second here this afternoon at Lang Park.
Great work, Michael Hancock. He is a left winger, realising when Paul Hoff retrieved the kick downfield, he was on his own. Hoff had done well to get it to there. Michael Hancock, left winger, in the middle of the ruck, straight up the middle, plenty of strength. Away he goes from Fitzhenry, plenty of pace, brushes aside, and then the pace to go on with it as well. This is his double already for Michael Hancock. He's gone looking for work. He's been rewarded. And from the end on, we'll see what a good finisher he is. Let's have a look at it again. Straight up the middle of the ruck, as strong as most players in the game, and then with the evasive skills to get around Fitzhenry, caught flat-footed in a situation like that. The fullback must attack the ball carrier. Hancock finishes off beautifully.
Let's watch it now as there's Hancock on the way through, brushes him out, and at this stage Fitzhenry's back there wondering now, how am I going to handle this bloke, because he is very, very elusive. There he goes, he just swerves away a bit, then the short palm, and then it was too late by that stage. Fitzhenry stuck with the task, but he was never going to catch Michael Hancock.
In the meantime, Terry Madison has added the extras, so that's a very handy lead.
Fitzhenry back right up in the play there. This is Kenny, gets it outside, cutting through is Jason Bell. Bell's still going, but just knocked. But he's got it going again to Fitzhenry. Fitzhenry delayed the pass nicely. He's coming up to Hoff. He's taken ball and all by the fullback, just inside the quarter line. Final tackle. Played forward by Fitzhenry. Now he kicks it into the in-goal area. Going back is Walters, and he'll kick it back over the dead ball line.
Best passage to play by far by Parramatta. Started with Brett Kenny, carried on by Fitzhenry. He realised Paul Hoff was the tackler, therefore no one at home, and it took a despairing kick by Walters.
So play will get back underway from under the goal mouth. Julian O'Neill with the ball in his hands at the moment. A replacement player for the injured Alan Langer. Dowling also off the ground. Mark Hone on. That was a huge kick. And it's nicely taken by Andrew Leeds. He brings it back to midway between the half and the quarter at Brisbane's end of the ground. Around about 14 minutes of play remaining in this first half. Johnston. Mark Hone goes into effect his first tackle. Now Lydiard's calling for it as the first receiver, moving it wide through Fernley. Stood and unloaded. Laurie. Now Mann goes to dummy half. That's Bell. Oh, that's a dreadful pass for Drake.
All came out of a bad pass out of dummy half. Brisbane in possession.
Now Khan is 11 metres short of the halfway line. O'Neill out of dummy half. Lost his footing and was wrapped up by Ericsson. Shadow starting to lengthen across Lang Park. Oh, that's a great hit. I was talking earlier about the defensive qualities of Peter Johnston. Have a look at this.
Front on, hit with the shoulder first, drive with your legs. G took the full brunt of it.
Walters. His dummy half. Mark Hone. Johnston in again.
Brisbane have lost their role.
Walters attacking that passes forward.
Only thrown forward, not offside. There'll be a changeover.
Brisbane elected to try and run it on the final tackle.
Here's the ball, certainly thrown forward as he elected to try and get it out wide.
Goodwin plays the ball, and that's Laurie. And down on the touchline is Tony Durkin.
Well, I've just been into the medical room, David, and Alan Langer, I must admit the wound looked a lot worse than it really is. Just a cut over the bridge of the nose, a couple of stitches being inserted at the moment, and the doctor reckons Alfie will be back.
Any further update, Tony, on Andrew Langford?
Andrew Langford, as I said, has regained consciousness, Fordo, and he's okay.
That's
but he
great
won't.
news.
But he won't be back.
Here's a great break by Goodwin. Support on the inside is Ericsson. Put the glasses down. Parramatta strike back.
Beautiful pass, this one up for Goodwin. Ericsson in beautiful support play. Brisbane have gone to sleep after creating an error in not kicking downfield on the sixth tackle. Parramatta replies straight away. Couple of rucks up the middle first, just to keep Brisbane in tight. Pop the ball back. This is the earlier play. Leeds through Johnston, and then a little pass. That was the key one. Into the gap goes Goodwin. It's a long time since he's been in that much space, but he had the presence of mind to look for support on the inside. Ericsson was there in good support to go in under the sticks. They're back in the match. Let's have a look at it. Fernley does well to stand in this tackle. Pops the pass back. Leeds also does well to keep his feet. And then a couple of short passes. Bell, look at this. Pop. Just popped it up beautifully. Goodwin into the gap. He looks back on the inside, draws the fullback. Ericsson in good position. Parramatta right back in the match.
Particularly seeing Fitzhenry brings up his 8th goal of the season from 9 attempts. And it's 10 points to 6 in favour of the Brisbane Broncos. And he's also come up with 15 tackles in this first half. So he's done what the coach had wanted, David.
Perfectly done, and a little bit of experience goes a long way. Parramatta's season has been one of quite a few missed opportunities, obviously. But as I said in the open, they've missed the experience of Sterling, and Goodwin too has had a injury-interrupted year.
Oh, that's a big hit for Gilmeister. It was quite legal, I think, as you'll see in the replay. He just hit him hard.
Filmer didn't like it. There's Goodwin going around. Well, it was a touch high. The rule says you cannot tackle above the shoulders. Goodwin in trouble. Make a point I made just last week. I think they could look at the rule there and get it down to chest high, not above shoulders. There's just no leeway, and Matt Goodwin suffering because of it.
So back here at Lang Park. We've just picked up where Parramatta have found touch. A couple of metres short of the halfway mark. Still Goodwin is down injured. But Parramatta cutting back with Mark Laurie up there over the halfway mark. So back on this time to Drake. He's going to be well and truly wrapped up though. The 10 metres inside Broncos territory. 9.5 minutes remaining to the halftime break.
Matt Goodwin in a lot of trouble, Bill, and the trainers call for more assistance. There he is, Goodwin.
Fitzhenry is the dummy half. Back to Kenny. Outside then to Bell. 4 points of difference at this stage.
Matt Goodwin's a pretty tough cookie too, Bill. He's very, very shaky.
Yeah, he's down again. So away from dummy half this time, Lydiard puts it up very high. Hoff's coming up. He has the eye on it. He jumps up and he takes it beautifully.
Magnificent that from Paul Hoff. Concentration supreme. Have a look at this for style. Up slightly to the side. The knee held out in front for a little bit of protection. Took it beautifully.
Michael Hancock will play it right on the quarter line. I agree with you, David. Broncos gone to sleep a little bit.
Well, they've got a habit of doing that, Bill, haven't they? They get a little bit of a lead and just relax on it. There is no substitute in this game for hard work. Hoff!
Here's Big Hoff up over the halfway mark. Where's the support? There's no one at home. He's got to go on his own. He's trying to force them away, but Fitzhenry gets him. And also is going to be wrapped up in the tackle there by the winger man. But back it comes this time to Madison. Madison outside to Walters. Walters dummying up towards the quarter line. Big run there by the fullback. Final tackles coming up. Crowd come alive a little bit now. A bit of action from the Bronx. Going to be knocked down by Parramatta. Lost by Hoff.
Great work by Reynolds.
Dived at by Reynolds, but he'll play the knock-on.
Both ways, and it should be a Parramatta knock-on initially, and therefore should be Broncos loose head and feed. Let's have a look. That was where the ball was knocked down. He dead set got it wrong, Filmer, and he's got the crowd offside because of it. No great surprise. We are at Lang Park. But he got it wrong.
He sure did get it wrong. Matter of fact, I think he got it wrong on 2 counts.
Well, it's hard to see how he did get it wrong, Bill, because he initially was going to call a restart of the tackle count, which had to mean that Parramatta had knocked the ball forward in the first instant.
That's right. And then touched it again.
Exactly.
Tony Durkin.
Goodwin is off, Bill, and he's been replaced by Chris King in jersey number 24. Chris King, the player rumoured to be going to the Gold Coast next year.
Along with a few others, Durko.
Grandstand full at this stage.
Well, I think he's one that you'll find will probably be there.
Australian Airlines will have probably put on a special flight to get them there.
Oh, so here's Michael Hancock looking for a bit of work.
And he has looked for work, Bill. It's brought him at least one of his tries, but it perhaps cost the Broncos another one a little while ago when big Paul Hoff went right up the middle, came searching left. Hancock was on a roving commission in midfield.
Well, referee Filmer finally gives a penalty. There was a bit of holding down just prior to that.
Brisbane really do need to capitalise on the superiority that they have held for most of the first half. 6.5 minutes to go in this first half. Brisbane only 10-6. They'd want to get a better lead than that after really being the better side in the first half.
So at this stage, the Broncos have a lead of 10 points to 6 over Parramatta. 6.5 minutes to the halftime break. So it's fairly important for the Broncos to clap on a try prior to the halftime. This is Mark Hone trying to do his best to score that try, or at least get his outside players going. And here's Gilmeister coming straight up the centre. They're only about 5 or 6 metres out now as Walters comes up as dummy half. He'll swing it back to Madison. Madison trying to step his way through, cuts back into the forwards again. Walters dummy half. They go to the left side. Walters getting it back. Oh, it's going to be snapped up, and here's a try. Julian O'Neill is in. Snapped up there by Alan Cairn, was it, standing out there?
It was, Bill. Alan Cairn off Walters after he was initially pressured, Kevin Walters, but he also had the presence of mind to duck back on the inside, look for support. Now have a look at the pressure on Walters, but he does well to turn it back outside. Cairn snatched it, fired it to Julian O'Neill. He's only been on for a short period of time. He went through the gap. That's the try Brisbane needed to consolidate. Kevin Walters dodged a couple. The pass was a dangerous one, but Cairn took it well. Julian O'Neill, he's a class player, O'Neill, and he finished off a try-scoring movement that really carried on from a penalty to the Broncos. They are a dangerous side.
A chance to put the Broncos in the lead by 16 points to 6. And he's done just that. A 10-point lead to the Broncos here at Lang Park, and about 4.5 minutes remain to half-time. Statistic we were talking about before the match, David, the 5 wins by Parramatta, interestingly enough, have not been against the teams in the Brisbane half of the draw.
Yes, they've only beaten sides in the opposite half of the draw. There is a strong contention that the group that Brisbane are involved in are the stronger group, and there's not much doubt about that. Parramatta, I guess, a reasonable yardstick to that line of thinking when they can only beat sides in the opposite side of the draw.
5 metres short of halfway. Walters, who's been dominant in the first half. Madison over the head of Ericsson, rolling down on the 4th tackle. Brisbane kicking in general play. Johns led the chase with Kieran Walters.
A bad time to kick either, because Parramatta now with a few tackles to try and get their way out. Brisbane will get more possession. They'll get another 6 tackles before half-time. Enough time to do something with it.
Well, the Eels looked pretty impressive last Friday night against North Sydney. A little unlucky they dropped that particular match. But they're certainly feeling the heat of Lang Park this afternoon. They wouldn't have played in conditions like this down south for quite a while.
A little bit of a contrast to what we had last Sunday, Fordo. Same planet.
Same planet. About 18 degrees cooler.
So it would have warmed up down there the day when those players were told they had to cop a 15% pay cut.
There's that meeting by the Raiders 2 o'clock this afternoon. Now, Renouf. That's another good run by Hancock. He settles it in the centre of the ground. Walters has the quick look around. Hones the first receiver. He can't get through the tackle of Johnston. And Laurie came over the top to wrap Walters up. G. Kevin Walters. Madison and back to Walters. Not a lot of pattern there by the Broncos. Now they go forward through Madison. That's better play.
Got the pass beautifully. Walters with the dummy. Popped the pass up. Superb hands. Trevor Gilmeister.
Sensational try by Brisbane. Once again, Terry Madison in the middle of the ruck, being creative. For a long time, over 4 years, Madison has been the link man. Now he's starting a lot of their play in the middle of the ruck. Looks back on the inside. Kevin Walters, have a look at the dummy. Bamboozles the defence, but can't go all the way. Have a look at this from beautiful hands. Plucked out of the air. Gilmeister. Evidence of great skills training here by the Brisbane Broncos, and Coach Wayne Bennett often maligned for his style of coaching, but if it does anything, it does improve ball handling, and there we see it, the benefits of it all. Gilmeister under the sticks. Some great attack by Brisbane. Parramatta just not quite up to it at this stage.
Right on half-time, Madison raises the flags again into the final 10 seconds of the first half. And Paul Hoff will just wrap it up, bring it back to the corner line. Takes the tackle as the half-time hoot is about to sound. There it is. And the Broncos lead by 22 points to 6. After an entertaining first 40 here at Lang Park, we'll be back in just a moment.
And here we go. We have liftoff. And it's lights out and away we go. Oh, what a hit! We might just be in for something special. The most extraordinary, captivating drama. Unbelievable stuff. We've witnessed a miracle. Bring your friends, text them, whatever. Get the telly on now. How good is that? World class. This is absolutely epic. It is me the pitch here. That is truly unbelievable. Absolutely brilliant. If that doesn't get you off the couch at home, nothing will.
Unleash the play in you. It's nerve or nothing.
If you want to bowl faster tomorrow, you need sports nutrition you can trust today. INT Sports Nutrition is banned substance tested and Informed Sports certified. INT Sports Nutrition, powering tomorrow, today.
Yeah, good.
We've been standing together for over 60 years because it's in our nature to support community. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
True skill. It's easy to see if you know where to look. Steel Blue.
Julio bought cheap car insurance with cheap accident repair. Don't risk bargain regret. Next time join the A-Team, hey Julio. Who offers great value cover you won't regret? Amy does.
Ash lost 50 kilos thanks to the Man Shake. Dave lost his beer belly without losing all the beers. And Josh dropped the kilos easy and feels better than ever thanks to the Man Shake. Save 25% off today at themanshake.com.au.
So ready for the second half kickoff here at Lang Park. Broncos have a lead of 22-6 at the change. So the ball coming down towards Kevin Walters. He immediately sends it across to Renouf. Gets out of Bell's tackle and he's way up over the quarter line looking for support. He's got Michael Hancock with him. Is he going to get it to him yet? Now he does. He gets it inside and this will be a try. Shut the gate as he heads up over the quarter line. Straight as a dot underneath the goalpost. And what a start for the Broncos in the second half.
Hat-trick, Michael Hancock. We saw Dale Shearer put 3 away. Hancock's down injured though. Don't tell me he's injured himself after really a simple matter of running in a try from the end on. Steve Renouf has really put some strength into his game of late. Breaks one tackle, cover defence across, breaks another Lydiard, and then stays on his feet to present this pass to Michael Hancock, who was just motoring back on the inside at that stage. Had a clear run to the line. What does happen to him as he scores it? Gets the ball down.
Paul Hofstadter, and now Michael Hancock with a Winfield Cup hat-trick.
Here's a kick coming in from Terry Madison. No doubt about it. She can add another 2 points and give the Broncos a lead now of 28 points to 6. I was just wondering when Renouf was going to unload. He did it in the long term. It was the right thing, but I was starting to get a bit worried there for a while.
Yes, it looked like at one stage he could have looked for him a little bit earlier, but in continuing to break tackles, he was creating better opportunities, and then when confronted by the fullback, simple matter, pop it back, and away they go. What a back line.
Here's Tony Durkin down on the touchline. What's happened at the halftime break?
Well, Bill, I actually spoke to Mike Cronin, the Parramatta coach, as the players came out from the halftime break, and he just said to his players, look, fellas, we've got to keep it simple. I want you to wrap up the ball in the middle of the ruck, he said, and watch your defence. And he told me, he said, you miss a tackle against these fellas and they score. Well, how prophetic was that straight after the halftime break? Wayne Bennett, pretty similar orders from Wayne Bennett to his side. Don't let Parramatta score again and lock up the ball. The report on Alan Langer is that he will not be back. Even though he only had 2 stitches in the bridge of his nose, he's pretty heavily concussed, so Alfie's in having a nice warm shower.
Well, I dare say it's a wise move. He's had a big week playing in the Test match, and when you've got a scoreline at the halftime break of 22-6, there's no real need.
Well as that, Bill, with a broken nose, you only need another knock on it, and very, very painful. I can vouch for that. And we have a look here at the tackles in the first half. Parramatta having to do most of the work, and if they keep this up, they'll be doing a lot more in the second. Efforts by Dowling, which is a good effort because he didn't play the full 40 minutes. Gilmister, Drake and Fernley. Also, missed tackles are important. Parramatta have found it difficult to contain the Broncos. And as Michael Cronin said, if you miss tackles, you'll pay the price. They've missed 14, and their total error count 25-8.
If you kick to Michael Hancock like that, you'll pay the penalty too.
There's the brains trust of Parramatta. They realise this season is shot well and truly, but they'll be thinking toward next year, as all coaches do at this stage. Bob O'Reilly, the reserve grade coach there, his right-hand man.
Mark Hone, midway between the quarter and halfway, down in Broncos territory. Dummy half is Walters. To Gilmeister, and Gillies almost through, but he gets a pass away. It's going to be picked up by Chris Johns. Johns will play it about 4 metres inside Parramatta territory. Men to the left if they let it go, and here's Hoff. He's lost the ball in the tackle. It'll be a Parramatta ball. Kenny coming away with it for them. Parramatta not quite sure where they're going at the moment. So from the play the ball, they're right on the halfway mark with Johnston bumped off the tackle of Hone. He unloads the ball nicely, eventually ends up with Mann. Mann is chased over there and put down by Reynolds. Fitzhenry.
Hancock in trouble.
Trainer's in having a look at him at the moment. This is Bell, a long pass picked up by Lydiard, gets it away to Jackson. Well wrapped up though.
Back on his feet, Michael Hancock, but still struggling. Looks like he may have been winded.
Dummy half is Ericsson, decides to have a run. Up the centre, he put down 10 metres inside Broncos territory.
This is the final tackle now for the Eels. The little grubber kick through by Lydiard. He's put the pressure on Walters, but he was composed all the way, Kevin Walters. Wrapped the ball up, that was his first priority. And now Hoff darts out of dummy half. Down on the touchline is Tony Durkin to bring us up to date with the changes on the field.
Tony Saka, David, is on in jersey number 29 for Parramatta. He's on for Andrew Leeds. And at half-time, Mark Laurie left the field, replaced by Ryan Schofield. And Schofield is wearing jersey number 22. That's it.
Now Johns over the quarter line. Walters in a dummy half. Saka's first touch. Just inside Brisbane's end of the ground. It's Henry working for the opening, but he can't find it. Gilmeister was in low. He's added a lot of attacking flair to his game under Bennett, David.
Yes, people want to criticise Bennett for his style of coaching. Here
goes Ericsson away. Has he got the pace? Back for Bell. And Parramatta come back with another try. Gee, Ericsson has still got a ton of pace.
As we speak about Gilmeister's attacking performance, it's still defence that Brisbane need to improve on if they're going to progress in the New South Wales Rugby League competition. You cannot afford to relax at any stage in the comp. And Wayne Bennett said to them at half-time, as related by Tony Durkin, we don't want Parramatta to score anymore. Ericsson scored the first try. He set this one up for Bell. Brisbane have gone to sleep. Admittedly, comfortable lead. It's easily to mentally relax, but you just can't afford to do it. You keep going, you keep alert, you keep concentrating, and this here is just bad concentration as Ericsson wanders through the middle of the ruck. Bell does well to cut back on the inside Hoff, and Parramatta have scored their second try.
Here Jason Bell around for the try right under the post. It's his 9th try of the season. He'll score doubles against West Cronulla and Canterbury. There's the kick waved away. And so it's an 18-point difference here at Lang Park. The Broncos over Parramatta. The restart of play by O'Neill. Driving it deep downfield. Just remembering back to that first round clash, David, it was Parramatta that got away to a terrific lead over Brisbane at the Parramatta Stadium in that Friday night game, and Brisbane came storming back. And I suppose there's thoughts going through their minds. They did it last year against Parramatta as well, but can Parramatta reverse it here today?
Well, they need to improve their play, Fordo. They've made only a couple of breaks in the match. Brisbane have looked very threatening. All Brisbane have got to do is make sure that their defence is tightened up, because I think their attack will still allow them to score a lot more than the 28 they've already got on the board.
Now we'll go back for Fitzhenry. The kick downfield. Claiming it on the full was Paul Hoff. Now we'll try and link up with Michael Hancock on that left wing, but that's a superb tackle coming in from Scott Mahon. Just cut Hoff off the kneecaps. Now Renner. Alan Langer, of course, with those couple of stitches in the nose. Celebrated his birthday during the week with a test win. It's been a mixed bag. The broken bugle on Sunday.
Some people believe that players are overpaid. Well, they don't get their money easy. They're in the game for only a short period of time, and the look there on Alan Langer, he's earning every cent.
Now Willie Carr to play the ball. As Langer looks on. Madison tried to get inside the tackle of Drake. Johnston was there to wrap him up, ball and all. That'll go for O'Neill. It's a nasty bounce, but it's well taken by Saka. Scott Mann runs out of dummy half. Mark Hayne stops his progress. Now Drake, not running with the same intensity that I've seen Drake in other matches in the Winfield Cup. Working blindside. That's Kenny. He's been pretty quiet today, David, Brett Kenny.
He has. Brisbane have concentrated pretty well on them, and I think overall Brisbane, having dominated possession, makes it hard for Kenny to weave his magic.
So we've had just on 10 minutes of play in this first half as Lydia drives it down, splitting the two there in Hancock and Hoff. But Michael Hancock from inside his own goal line will run it out. Already a hat-trick to his credit today, Michael Hancock.
Eventually put down about 10 metres out from his own line. It comes to Julian O'Neill. Cuts back inside. Eventually picked up over there by King. Oh, the Paul Hoffett was the big. How do I get those mixed up, my goodness? Sorry, Hoffy. Walters to no one. Actually picked up by O'Neill this time. He's looking around for support, but there's no one around.
And should have been. Actually, there was a chance there to continue the progress.
Alan Can, final tackle. To Madison. Back towards Ericsson. Eventually he takes it, runs it up to the halfway mark, is going to be tackled by Mark Home there. So Broncos lead at the moment is 28 points to 10. Fitzhenry. Out it comes to Jackson. Still going on over there is Bell, but eventually going to be put down. Lost the ball. It's going to be picked up by Ericsson. Play on, says the referee. Now turning it back inside to Lydiard. Lydiard trying to get it back behind him. It's going to be picked up this time by Schofield. He's running across field, gets it back inside to Brett Kenny. We hadn't heard much of him before, but we do now. He's in for the try.
Did he get it down? Yes, Billy's going to award it. Filmer checked with his in-goal judge to be sure. Brett Kenny's timing was to perfection. Great passage of play this from Parramatta. That's what they're capable of when they get a little bit of ball. This man has been damaging. He's had a part in every try, having scored the first and set up the second. Ericsson, and then the good hands. Lydiard does brilliantly to hold it up. And then the little fellow in Schofield goes cross field. Kenny back on the inside, takes on Kevin Walters on the try line, crashes through, gets it down. There's the in-goal judge. Schofield cuts away from the defence, flicks it back on the inside. Kenny changes direction as well, and the Walters boys can't stop him from scoring.
So we'll wait for Fitzhenry to have the shot at goal.
101 tries. Brett Kenny.
There it is, and another 2 points on the board. So the Broncos leading by 28 to 16 now. Shot at Kevin Walters over there on the touchline. In a bit of trouble. Who's come on instead of him?
Billy. You there?
Yep.
Billy, two changes at the Broncos side. Kevin Walters, as you say, has just come off. He's being tended to by Dr. Peter Frisch for a rib injury. He's been replaced by Andrew G, who went on the interchange at half-time for Greg Dowling. And Chris Johns has just succumbed to a pretty bad ankle injury, and Willie Morganson's on for Chris Johns.
Brisbane have forced an error. Here's their chance to get back into this match and assert some superiority.
Alan Can gets it back on to Mark Hone. Hone is taken by Bell. Have a look at Ericsson out here. He's just about shaking hands with Willie Kahn. Back inside it goes to Julian O'Neill. He's going to be pulled down about 5 metres out. Dummy half is Walters. He'll give it away to Madison. Wrapped up right in front of the post and only those few metres out. Walters again. Back on to Dowling. Dowling charging for the line. Reaches out and is there.
The experience of the big front rower hit the defensive line. That's the first try for this season for the big fellow Greg Dowling. Determination and technique. He hits the line and spins. Little pass back on the inside. Dowling plunging up the middle. Almost uncharacteristic of the Broncos these days. They like to run them in from out wide. Dowling prepared to do the hard work. Hit the defensive line, spin and score it. Well, either great attacking sides, Bill, and neither wants to do any tackling at all. Bit of both.
So here's Madison. He's got it. So that gives the Broncos a lead now of 34 points to 16. So Hone getting it across to Gilmeister, back inside to Hoff. He got away from Johnson, he got away from Drake. He's coming up to Fitzhenry. He's tackled right on the quarter line. Dummy half Walters. Over to Dowling. Now back to Walters again. Walters trying to send it over the top. It's going to be knocked down, picked up by Morganson. He's only a couple of metres out. The tackle count to restart. So Madison from dummy half. Out it goes to Mark. Dives for the line, but he's lost it.
You wouldn't believe it. It would have been his first ever try in the Winfield Cup.
He probably saw it as he was going down, thinking, this is it. But no, Honey, not quite. Just lost it. Filmer calls it right. Hone went up the middle and just couldn't come up with the goodies.
I reckon about 11 o'clock tonight at the Broncos Club, Bill, that would Honey be saying he definitely got that ball down.
Yes, he did. I think his elbow hit the ground first and then dropped out of it, actually. Dropped out of his arms.
Another mistake, Parramatta. Up on both ways there. It'll be a loose head and feed Brisbane.
Tony Durkin down there on the touchline.
And with me, the injured Broncos skipper, Kev Walters. Kev, skipper last week, a victory today, but it's been at some cost for you.
Yeah, mate, unfortunately I've torn something in the back behind my ribs and it's very sore, but I've had to come off, but the boys are doing well, so I'll stay here.
Yeah, they are doing well. 34 points on the scoreboard, but I don't think you or Coach Wayne Bennett would be too happy with that 16 against you, would he?
No, well, it's disappointing. It is. They got a couple of soft tries at the end there, but you know, we're pretty happy with our attack at the moment, and that's what's winning us the game at the moment.
Mate, you've given a lot of players a run too. Willie Morganson, we see young Peter Ryan on there, and of course Julian O'Neill. So that's encouraging for the future.
Yeah, it is. A lot young backline out there at the moment. You know, it is good signs for the future, and let's just hope they get another couple of tries before the game's over.
Thanks, Kev. Thanks for your time. Hope those ribs get better for next week.
Thanks, Durko.
Jason Bell feeds the scrum. Ericsson coming across from the wing. He's been one of the better Parramatta players today.
It's a wonder, Billy. He is such a good ball runner. Why they don't play him a little bit closer to the action. Kenny in at lock forward. Seems to me that as a ball runner, Ericsson could be quite devastating in there as well. Perhaps not quite the work rate in defence. They need plenty of work rate.
Jason Bell working across field and still going. He got out on the outside of Morganson, but eventually Gilmeister will pick him up. Coming half, waiting up there is Drake. He sends it back inside. Schofield keeping it going right across over in centre field. Eventually Fitzhenry to play it. Schofield dummy half. Outside over there to Fernley. Keep it going to Kenny. Now pass back to Schofield again. Well, eventually will be claimed. Midway between the quarter and halfway. Now in Broncos territory, and the final tackle is on its way. So the pass by Lydiard over the top. Back inside to Ericsson. He's going to be wrapped up. Flicks it back behind him. Lydiard knocks it back. Drake is going for it. He'll pick it up. He'll get it back inside to Mann. Set sail up over the quarter. Puts a little kick in. Michael Hancock's back there to regather. Will run it out of the in-goal area. Coming up right up centre field now. Still going is Hancock. I don't know where he's going. He's got them all bamboozled. But eventually going to be put down by Fitzhenry.
Magnificent work, Michael Hancock. He's just a bit unlucky, Hancock, that he's not in the Australian side. Wishart got the nod in front of him. That was beautiful work to pick up the run, the change of direction. Took all the pressure off his side.
And he's been injured in that tackle, as we see Alan Can.
He's had a terrific game, Bill. 3 tries there. He is getting a bit of a breather. 3 tries, and even though he hasn't been on the field the whole time, been heavily involved when he's been there.
Paul Hoff is the dummy half. 5.5 minutes remaining. The Broncos lead is 34-16. And that's big Greg Dowling with the final tackle coming up. Walters sends it back to Madison. He's going to put it up pretty high. Out towards Saker over there on the wing. He's dropped it, and it goes into touch.
The young fella Saker, always a lot of pressure to play your first game here at Lang Park, right in front of the Frank Burke stand. Looked to be doing everything right, just lost it.
14,906 people here today in beautiful conditions at Lang Park. And we go into the final 5 minutes of this round 19 clash in the Winfield Cup. O'Neill away for Hoff. 2 fine examples of the youth in this back line at the moment. There's another young fellow with his first taste of first-grade football today, Peter Ryan. Jared Walters. Away for Hone this time, yes! He finally does it. In exactly the same spot that he was denied just a moment or two ago.
And well deserved too, Mark Hone. A lovely bloke, Mark Kane. He's come up with the goodies. Little set piece, Brisbane. Gilmister across the back. Hone straight up the middle. We spoke about what may happen at 11 o'clock. Well, you can rest assured it will happen tonight now at the Broncos. This great try by Mark Kane.
Look at the smile on his face when he gets up. He really knew what he had done. Man of the match against Canberra just last week. And up for his first ever try on the Winfield Cup here at Lang Park. Madison raises the flags once again. He's kicked 6 for 7, and Brisbane bring up their 40. Just a reminder that North and Manly is following, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Just a couple of minutes remaining here at Lang Park, but just a reminder that in our special 2-hour edition of the MMI Big Game tonight, the action from the North Sydney Oval this afternoon between Norths and Manly follows.
Certainly will be plenty of action. Fordo, worth mentioning a couple of things. We often see players dropping out through injury, and you've got to appreciate too just how hard these players work in the off-season to get on the park often. And I've seen Mark Hone at the gym a number of times, and he's had knee trouble, and these guys pushed themselves to the limit and passed even to get on the park. So you've got to appreciate the tenacity that they prepare for these games, irrespective of just how tough it is out there.
Well, his disappointments too. He played a lot of first grade last year. He's only had 5 starts in the top grade this year, but he's been working away to try and cement a place in the top grade.
He has, Fordo. One other thing worth mentioning too, as the 5th tackle comes up, is the fact that the Brisbane Broncos or the Gold Coast won't have Colts in the Sydney Winfield Cup next year, the New South Wales League. They'll have to revert to Queensland to play. And I notice Wayne Bennett is saying that his Colts side may well go back to the Sunshine Coast, where a lot of these players really cut their teeth a couple of seasons ago. I think it'll be disappointing if the league, the Brisbane division, the QRL can't work something out. If this isn't a promotional vehicle for the Brisbane division to get a Broncos Colts side in the Brisbane division and promote the game in this area, then I think they're making a big mistake.
Well, 3 fine examples from 1989 are out there today, and I talk of Paul Hoff, Willie Kahn, who have gone on to represent their country, and of course Alan Cairn. Schofield is the dummy half, and Drake. So we're going through the motions of the final minute or so in this match here at Lang Park. The Broncos leading by 40 points to 16. £22 to 6 they led at half-time. Now they move it wide. The pass loose on the ground. Good clever skills that time by Gilmeister. That's Kahn. And Kahn takes it over halfway. So Parramatta's defence a little bit disorganised at the moment. Walden spotted that, got it away for Renoff. Renoff went past Kenny. No spear there. The crowd are calling for it.
It actually held him up, which is good to see. I think the recent suspensions have ensured that players don't go on with that. Now you can see there that Fitzhenry actually holds him up, and that's great to see that players are looking to protect their opponents, even in one of the toughest sports of all.
Round 19 of the Winfield Cup, victory to the Brisbane Broncos. A hat-trick to Hancock, tries to O'Neill, Gilmeister, Dowling and Hone. Madison 6 and 7. And for Parramatta, their 3 tries. Erickson, Bell, Kenny with his 101st first-grade try. Fitzhenry 2 from 3. It was 22 points to 6 at half-time.